University of Management and Technology, Lahore, Pakistan. He is an associate professor and associate dean at College School of Systems and Technology, UMT, Lahore. His research interests include data mining, machine learning, bioinformatics, and natural language processing. We are honored to have his expertise for this session. Let's proceed with our next speaker of the day, who is Dr. Muhammad Shoaib Farooq. Dr. Muhammad Shoaib Farooq is from University of Management and Technology. He has over 26 years of teaching experience and has been the University of Management and has been with the University of Management since 2014 in Department of Computer Science. Before UMT, he served at the UCP from 2000 to 2014 and led the Computer Science Department at HSN College, Lahore. He has also worked as consultant and trainer at TechLogic Center of Excellence with research interest in programming languages, compiler construction, data warehousing, and distributed computer. Dr. Farooq has supervised numerous undergraduate and graduate projects and published extensively in reputable journals. I welcome you, Dr. Muhammad Shoaib Farooq, for your talk.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Dr. Muhammad Shoaib Farooq. I am currently working as Chairperson Department of AI at UMT. The today's topic is rapid software development using generative AI. This topic is very important. Actually, in 2024, most of the functional teams in industry transformed into agile teams. Actually, in last 10 years, most industry have team. For example, in a software house, they have the DB team, web team, engineering team, Java team, mobile team, and security team. But now they have Scrum teams. In Scrum teams, all functional teams merge into specialized team structure. For example, one Scrum team have 5 or 7 members, or maybe 3 members are developer, one is Scrum master, and there are QA experts. But they expect they develop all type of requirements with the help of single Scrum teams. Now they have no functional team concept in software houses. Due to this constraint, it's very important requirement how to develop software from non-software experts. So it means we can use generative AI tools in order to develop software based on requirements from non-computing experts, maybe QA expert, maybe architect, or maybe expert developer can develop their software-related activities rapidly using these tools. Secondly, generative AI is effectively used for rapid software development. Functional teams are merged into agile teams. Single domain requirement is changed into multi-domain and perform best for daily developer or QA tasks. High demand of generative AI tools industry. Next. The common use case of generative AI in industry is writing basic code faster, cleaning unfamiliar code, remembering stuff you forget. Actually, already software is available, or in order to change software, most important requirement in industry is change. They want to change software already developed in some language, but change rapidly. In order to change rapid change, they need some special technique which is provided by generative AI. So extending and refactoring code, adding tests to the project, understanding errors and finding its solution. These are again some most common use cases, uses of generative AI in industry: code suggestions, natural language processing, support for multiple programming languages, integration support for multiple code editors, personalization, privacy and security. Personalization means suppose one programmer write code in some using some compliance requirement. Industry use stringent compliance requirement. For example, banking industry use payment card industry requirements, and they are also following ICOSST top 10 compliance requirements. In order to apply quality coding standards, especially in code, they use some type of compliance requirement. Without compliance, they can't sell their code in market. Even they can't produce good test cases without implementing compliance in code. So actually, generative AI tools helps developers to implement special type of compliance, especially quality coding standards in code. Next. But there are limitations of generative AI. First one is generative AI tools based on training based on general training data. They are not specific purpose tools. For example, if you want to develop software, suppose timetable software for university, AI-based timetable software, but there is no special trained tool, especially in generative AI, that are specially trained on AI-based timetable. So actually, generative AI-based tools are lacks the general training data, inaccurate test cases for complex logic, non-deterministic response. Sometimes they produce non-determinism. Non-determinism means maybe if you give some requirement in the form of prompt, they will generate non-deterministic response, maybe loop forever, maybe they will hallucinate on some prompts. You can't read your mind if you can't present in the form of requirement. If you can't write good prompts, you can't generate good responses. You may generate inaccurate suggestions. Next. Actually, this graph shows actually popularity of generative AI, especially in market generative AI from 2022 to 2032. This graph shows you can see in this graph generative AI demand grows from 2022 to 2020 to 2023 in code generation, bug detection, code optimization, testing, and quality assurance. So majorly, they will industry will invest more and more in generative AI based tools. Actually, they're more interested in code generation, bug detection, code optimization, testing, and quality assurance. Next. The popular generative AI tools used in industry is GitHub Copilot, Amazon Code Whisper, IBM Watson X, OpenAI Codex, Blackbox, Tab9, Ask Cody, Cloud, and Cody. But most popular tool is GitHub Copilot. Why GitHub Copilot? Actually, GitHub Copilot is a consortium of GitHub and OpenAI. OpenAI is already actually have more popularity in industry, especially in GPTs. Actually, GitHub Copilot is based on the consortium of two companies. First one is GitHub and second one is OpenAI. Actually, generative AI tools acts as a pair programmer. So what is pair programmer? You can see in this diagram, one is programmer and one is pair programmer. You can, last time when, in last 20 years ago, in literature, there's the term extreme programming or pair programming. But pair programming means two programmers, physical two human programmers. But term is same, pair programming. But first is one is human programmer and second one is generative AI pair. It's again a pair programming. But first one is human and second one is our generative AI tool. You can embed these tools into ID, your existing IDs, while if, for example, in 2024, popular IDs are Visual Studio, Eclipse, Code Studio. You can easily plug in these tools into your existing IDs. These generative AI tools act as your programmer, your pair programmer during your coding practices. Next. Actually, in this session, I'll introduce GitHub Copilot as AI pair programmer. Actually, GitHub Copilot is a consortium of OpenAI and GitHub. Actually, GitHub is the basic architecture of GitHub. GitHub Copilot actually based on OpenAI Codex model and also trained on public code and text of the internet. And the basic objective of this and available in the form of SaaS. So SaaS stands for software as service. It means you can directly plug in this generative AI tool with your ID, and you can use this tool as SaaS, software as service. It means software as service means you have to pay in order to use this service. But fortunately, this service is free, especially for students and faculty members. If you are a student or faculty member, you just apply a GitHub Copilot with some proof you are a student or you are faculty member. They will provide you free service of this generative AI tool. You can just plug this tool as in your ID, and you can use this tool as pair programmer during your coding time. So this tool will provide, actually it's an effective, how can effectively use this tool in our existing IDs. So you can enter detailed requirements plus context required for business logic. It will generate effective prompt. We'll enter or give this effective prompt to GitHub Copilot service. GitHub Copilot service generate the response, and this response can be reviewed by expert programmer, which is another co-pair or co-coder in co-programming effort. Next. So we can integrate these tools into existing IDs. In 2024, most popular IDs are Visual Studio Code, Eclipse, JetBrains. In this session, I'll use first one, Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code is very popular ID in 2024. I'll just plug in this Copilot, coding Copilot with Visual Studio Code and perform some most common tasks by programmer that can be performed easily or rapidly with the help of AI pair programming. Next. So prompting, actually, generative AI based on prompting, you know what is prompt engineering. Actually, we can give prompts with the help of three methods. First one, command-based prompt. Second one, chat-based prompt. And third one is command-based prompts. Next. Popular task assigned to software developer is code generation. Second is code debugging. Third, test case generation. And fourth one is code optimization. So inshallah, I'll perform all four tasks in this section. How a programmer can do these tasks with the help of generative AI as pair programmer. Next. Examples. First example. So that is very simple. Suppose I want to develop simple software in university. Suppose in university we have multiple programs. One program have many students, and the problem is very simple. We have two classes. So first one is student, second one is program. One program has many students, so one student can opt many at a time one program. Okay. Prompt one is Prompt one is simple, write a student class with student ID and name. Prompt two, write a program class with program ID and title. Prompt three, create association between these two classes. Association is one-to-many. One program has many students. Create association between students and program class. One program has more than one student. Prompt four, create 10 objects. Student class, create two program objects of program class, and create a main client program and manage these two classes in the form of 10 students and 2 programs. Also, I will print the name of the student in this program. One. Okay. Now we have Visual Studio Code demo. At present, I have installed Visual Studio Code in my laptop. I have plugged GitHub Copilot as plugin with Visual Studio Code. GitHub Copilot is free for students and faculty. It's actually very interesting, but if you are industry, you should purchase lessons for GitHub Copilot. But for students and faculty, you can use this tool as a complementary for GitHub Copilot. Actually, there are two confusing concepts. First one is in Copilot, two ambiguities are there: Microsoft Copilot, and second one is GitHub Copilot. Actually, Microsoft Copilot is just like a GPT or Chat GPT. But GitHub Copilot is completely different. GitHub Copilot is specially designed for developers, programmers. Typically, we are using GitHub Copilot as AI-based programmer in Visual Studio Code. Okay, execute this prompt. Prompt 1, 2. Okay, I think he have executed first prompt to create a student class. Second prompt is create a program class with given attributes. Third prompt is create an association class between student and program. One program has many students. And fourth prompt is create some objects in student and program class, and write also main client function. Client function will use these objects. Actually, all prompts are going to GitHub Copilot. You can see, suppose I'm programmer, and this is my pair programmer in the form of generative AI. I'll just give prompts to my pair programmer. Pair programmer generates code for me. Codes are directly included into my IDE. I can directly execute this code into my IDE. Okay, prompt 4, create 10 objects of student class and 2 objects of program class, and also create a main method or client program which will use these objects. In this sample generated code, you can see they have created 10 student objects and program objects. It will enroll students into certain program, and we can display which student enrolled into which program. We can access student-wise program and program-wise students. So within minutes, we can develop a simple object association problem in this example. Next. Any question? Next, PPT. Okay, next example.
Like your feature introduction, like the prompt introduction.
Yeah. Actually, generative AI is totally based on prompt engineering. If you write good prompts, you can generate good codes. But prompts are totally, prompts plus business context. Actually, GitHub Copilot gets your prompt as input, plus it also give business context from the given code. You can give prompts plus already written code. In this example, we have no already written code, but in industry they have already written code. If we have already written code in package, in classes, in object, you can just give already written code as business object to GitHub Copilot and also give your prompts. It will also change already written code. It will refactor already written code. It will add more code in already written code. It will also perform maximum usability. It means don't reinvent the wheel. You can use your existing code, plus you can write extra code based on extra given requirements in the form of prompts. Okay, next.
And how is GitHub Copilot different from the Python lab?
Actually, Python is a programming language. Colab is a programming environment available on cloud. But GitHub Copilot is your pair programmer. It's a programmer with you. It means you can hire one programmer with you without any cost. It's a pair programmer. It's not an environment. It's not a language. Yeah. Okay, but GPT is just a, if you can, another question mostly, if you can ask a question, what is the difference between GitHub Copilot and Chat GPT, and what is the difference between GitHub Copilot and Microsoft Copilot? Actually, Chat GPT is no doubt NLP processing tool. Chat GPT is good for general purpose activities, but Chat GPT maybe perform poor, especially for programming activities. But this tool is specially trained for programming activities. If you are a developer, if you are a programmer, if you want to develop software within less time, if you want to develop software with most optimized code, you can use this AI pair programmer. So actually it's an AI pair programmer, not GPT. Yeah. Even you can train GitHub Copilot on your existing code. You can give your existing code repository with this tool. This tool will learn your existing code repository, and it will also manage all your previous code in its own repository. When you give prompts, it will get responses from your given repository. It means you can also add your own code repository. For example, I'm a software company and I've already large code repository. So I can provide my large code repository to this tool. Actually, also this tool generative AI pair programming tools also provide personalization. For example, programmer 1, I'm programmer 1 and you are programmer 2 and these are programmer 3. Programmer 1 habits are different maybe as compared to programmer 2. Programmer 1 can write more optimized code. Programmer 1 follow compliance requirement. Programmer 1 is good in writing quality coding standards as compared to programmer 2. It will learn the habit of programmer 1 on the basis programmer 1 enter or provide code on IDE. This tool learns from code given in IDE written by programmer 1. It's a basic first example, where genetic tool based on prompt, but it is more than genetic code on prompts. Next one is a simple example. Prompt is debug this code to remove logical error. This code is simple code based on the simple while loop with the prime function based on simple while loop. This function have one logical error. This code will detect where is the logical error, and it will also provide suggestions how to remove this logical error. This logic is not a syntax error; it's called runnable code. But code is a basic bug in this code. Code can't produce required output, and maybe producing output is not equal to actual output. Okay. You can see accidentally we have entered single ampersand in given code. But we provide suggestions. What are basic logic errors and what are uncatchable logical errors in this program that is not detectable by common programmer eye, but it's a very trained tool. You can detect what are logical errors in this code, and it will also rewrite the code. For example, it will suggest this what is the difference between single ampersand and double ampersand in this language. If you produce or get output using single ampersand, it will and maybe overlap the data or destroy data. You should use double ampersand. Suggestions are given in pair programming side. You can see in this code. Suggestions are given there. Okay, next. Generate the unit test. Actually, unit test, what is unit testing? Actually, all testing is performed by QA team. But unit testing is a special type of testing performed by developer. If in industry, developer knows what is unit testing. Unit testing is very important. when developer hand over his or her code to another team member, he should perform all type of unit tests. Typically, unit testing is a basic responsibility of developer. Typically, it's a developer tool. You can generate unit testing with the help of unit testing based on equivalence classes, data oracle. This tool is very smart. It will create equivalence classes. It will also create data oracle. So it's very hard task in past how to create unit tests, especially based on equivalence classes, and how to create test oracle based on equivalence classes, and how to write code, unit test code based on given equivalence classes and data oracle. It's a very smart tool. Based on prompts, we can create data oracle and also unit test cases, and based on all type of equivalence classes, it will generate best equivalence classes based on given code. Okay. Prompt is very simple. Generate the unit test cases of all the equivalence classes for the is prime. The is prime is a simple function. Prompt is generate the unit test cases of all the equivalence classes. For example, suppose we have binary search code. What are equivalence classes of binary search code? Maybe binary search, maybe odd array key, found key should be in array. Even size array key should be in array. Maybe odd size array key not available in array. Or maybe one size array key not available in array. Maybe not even or odd, or key not available in array. So we can generate different equivalence classes, but equivalence classes initialization is very tough, for especially in complex problems. But it's performed best in equivalence classes, and each equivalence class have a defined unit test function. You can see in this pair programming side. We build three equivalence classes related. First one prime number, the second one is not prime number, and third is as cases. So three equivalence classes with test oracle. We can directly execute these equivalence classes with test oracle onto this function. It means unit testing. Now unit testing is very easy for programmer. Any programmer can easily test his or her function with the help of simply written prompts. Next one is code optimization. Code optimization is very important task, especially in algorithm point of view. Algorithms are based on complexity. When you optimize code, should be based on win-win position. Actually, algorithm performs well on some, for example, growth functions are available in the form of complexity attached with every algorithm. For example, log-n time algorithm, linear search performs linear in end time, and binary search performs log-n time searching. But code optimization, for example, in this example, it's a basic searching linear search code. Basically, linear search code. This code simply traverses the array from 1 to n times, and it search key items in array. Prompt is very simple. Optimize this code with sentinel approach. You can see in this loop, every search loop have two conditions. First one condition is found, and second condition is not found. If condition is true, if the element is found in array, and this condition will false if we from length of array. First, this condition 2 is being found. If this condition 2 false, it will not found. So every time we'll check two conditions, found and not found, again found and found. For first cell of array, found, not found condition. Second cell of array, found, not found condition. But in sentinel approach, we will remove boundary checks. So just my prompt is very simple. Optimize this code as sentinel approach. It will easily guess what type of boundary conditions available in this code and how we can remove these boundary conditions in this code. If we remove these boundary conditions in this code, we will perform well complexity-wise in this code. Basically, boundary conditions are based on time-space trade-off. Time-space trade-off is very simple. If we add some space in this array, we can just remove, no doubt, if we are adding one space in array, space is increased, but time, we will save time in searching. By its in central approach, it will easily identify what type of boundary conditions given and how we can remove boundary conditions from this code. For example, if you remove boundary condition linked list code, you can remove boundary conditions in searching code. You can remove boundary conditions in any type of code that are based on scanning whole array from 1 to n times. Next, for linked list. Next example is coordination from existing code. Coordination from existing code. It means, its basic slogan in industry is don't reinvent the wheel. If code is already available and already implemented in the form of existing software, don't rewrite code. So this method is called, in design pattern, this method is called adopter design pattern. So using adopter design pattern, we can adopt existing code and we can rewrite new code without writing any extra instructions related to logic. We can just adopt previous code as new code. The prompt is very simple. Write stack class code with adopter design pattern by using existing linked list class. The linked list class was already available, but you want to develop a stack class, but you don't want to write any extra logic or extra business logic related to stack class. You know, linked list class have two basic functions: add on head and delete from head. We can use add on head as push function, and we can use delete from head as pop function. So it will easily detect. We can use these functions in order to implement stack without writing any extra code for stack class. So you can see in this code, we implement push function with add on head and implement pop function with remove from head. So no extra business logic has been written for stack class. We just use or adopt code already written in linked list class. It's a adopter design pattern. It's a very smart. It learns on all type of design patterns in coding. You can apply different design patterns in your prompts. It will generate code based on design pattern from your existing code. Next is generating safe code. Code safety and reliability is very important in software industry. Code safety based on some constraints or some requirements or some restrictions. You can see the basic prompt: update the HTML code and add JavaScript code to prevent SQL injection. So SQL injection is a major threat. If you want to get credentials from user, so SQL injection is a major threat, also defined in OWASP top 10 security threats. So it's very smart AI tool. It already trained on all type of threats. In this prompt, we have already mentioned threat name is SQL injection. So update HTML code and add JavaScript code to prevent SQL injection. Password should contain at least one special character, alphabet and number, and length should be between 8 to 16 characters, the basic prompt. And HTML is there, it will generate HTML with JavaScript code based on restrictions. So HTML is already given. Suppose reason in software industry, HTML developed by front-end developers and maybe JavaScript written by some business logic developers. We can implement business logic with already available front-end screens. So you can see it generates comprehensive code based on given HTML with all type of constraint that are given in prompt and type of threat that are already given in prompt. Next. Quality coding standard. Quality coding standard is a basic compliance standard. If we write a quality code, it means we can easily change code in future. We can easily modify code in future. We can add more requirements in future. We can sell our code as liable code to third parties if we follow quality coding standards. Every language, programming language has given compliance quality coding standards. We can already or easily implement quality coding standards with the help of generative AI tools. Okay, prompt is simple. Correct the following code with best coding practices. Code is very simple. In this code, you can see only one if statement is written. If I is that, if I is then do this and do this. Basic if statement. Suppose this statement in C++ or Java. If we write this statement C+ or Java, but this statement have dangling else problem. In order to overcome dangling else problem, we should apply compound statements after if and after else. Every if part and else part should have compound statement. You should apply compound statement in then part and else part. Next. Code complexity. Code complexity is very important if you want to write some code, and especially code complexity related to algorithms. Actually, normal culture is you have to write, develop a logic, then write algorithm based on logic, then convert or map algorithm onto code. So, but in reverse engineering, for example, code is available, but complexity is not given. In 2024, normally programmers generate codes or get code from different repositories. These are code, you get this code from different repository, but you are not sure what are the complexity of this code. But you can easily calculate or derive complexity from this given language code using your AI pair programmer. Complexity, prompt is very simple. Write code complexity of this code. Function, I have given unanimous name to function, actually, but function is a binary search function. So actually, it automatically guesses function is binary search. It's a binary search logic, and binary search logic complexity is log of n. So you can view short text actually what are the purpose of code, and what should be the best name of this code, and what are the complexity of this function. Okay, any question? Next, algorithm design approaches. We can also use algorithm design approaches in our existing code. For example, algorithm design approaches are heuristics, divide and conquer, greedy approach. In these three prompts, I have applied all three approaches into one simple longest common subsequence for write a Java code with dynamic programming. For longer subsequence. Same prompt, write a code with greedy approach for longest common subsequence. So it will generate, but all type of logic can't be written using divide and conquer. If logic is can't be written with divide and conquer, it easily is a smart tool, easy guesses and prompts or responses. You can't write this code with the help of generative AI tool if you can't divide the problem according to a dynamic programming approach. If you can suppose if we this problem is solvable with dynamic programming approach, it means problem is optimally solvable. The best algorithm is a solution with dynamic programming. Next. Copilot edits. Actually, Copilot is your pair programmer with your IDE. Copilot edits are very popular or strong. You can use these edits in order to write good and efficient code. First, it is generate or edit code files based on given prompts. Second is ask for the approval on suggestions. And third one is scan and edit multiple files. Suppose if you are expert programmer, especially industry, so you have your whole program available in the form of package or project. One project can have many packages, one package can have many classes, or one class can have many files. It means you have many files, many packages. Different, maybe your file have some images or some video data or some voice data. So you can use all type of data with all type of code edits in a single ID with the help of your AI pair programmer. Next. Okay. These are basic prompts for strong edits. First prompt is create a Java class named student Java with student.java, which contains student class. Student have following attributes: student ID, name, address, CNSE, contact number, and list of qualification. Write default parameters and getter and setter functions. Make this class serializable. Okay. We're going to generate code based on first prompt. We're also going to create a project and put this code in a file in a project. You can see on left-hand side, we have two Java files, student sample.java and student.java. Student.java is created with the help of this prompt. And now we can place this file into a project, and we can also create a package based on these classes. We can also place different stuffs into one project file, and we can whole application within minutes with one project file. Okay, next prompt. Next prompt, create another Java file named student frame. It's a frame class. Frame have all type of graphical user interface. Maybe text fields for strings, radio buttons for different check boxes, push buttons for save. Actually, it's a basic prompt. The objective of this prompt is to create a GUI for student class. So all GUI related requirements are given in this prompt. Okay, execute this prompt. Now it will generate another class named student frame.java. Actually, student frame Java is a GUI class or a window class based on student class. It will create all type of graphical objects onto frame, with text box, buttons, radio buttons, check buttons, all type of stuff that should be required in order to get data for student class. Now we have two classes. First one is student.java and second one is student frame.java. Okay, you can see student frame.java is created with all GUI requirements that are given in prompt. It means a basic game of prompts. If you can write good prompts, you know what the importance of AI pair programmer. You can write or develop a software within hours that are not possible within days. Okay, next prompt is student record management. It's a basic prompt. The basic objective of this prompt is to modify existing Java frame class and add some constraints on GUI input classes for validation. For example, create a new Java class named validator. .java, which contains a class of static method to validate each attribute of class student. ID should be digits only, name must contain alphabets only, mobile phone number must contain 11 digits only, starting from this, CNAC must contain 13 digits, this. It will create regular expressions. Actually, constraints are given for special data entry. For CNAC is a special string, mobile number is special string. So we have given all constraints in the form of prompt. It will generate regular expressions and write code based on regular expression, embed code onto Java frame, already existing Java frame with these regular expressions. So you can see in this prompt, you can easily modify existing code. You can add more codes based on more requirements. As you know, in software development, major requirement is change. Software never finalized. We have to change again and again and again. An entire life cycle of software in order to change, effectively change or rapidly change existing software. I think generative AI programmers are very, very, very effective tools. You can see we have this prompt modifies already existing frame.java class with new validation requirements. Take it next. Time over? Okay. Next is extension to be used with GitHub Copilot that are called chat participants. What is chat participants? Now we are going to use our new guest named chat participant. With the help of AI pair programmer, we already use some energy in programming a problem, but if we use chat participants are available as plugins in GPT. They actually, what are chat pilots are special GPTs. You can, if you have GPT 4.0, you can add plugins into GPT 4.0. These plugins are special trained for special purpose. It means you can add chat participant that are special trained for special purpose. For example, if you want to write a quality coding standard based on specific lines, for example, if you are working with Philips, and Philips have developed their own quality coding standards. If you are going to present your product with Philips, you should write code according to Philips quality coding standard. But if chat participants available in GPT developed by Philips, you can just add Philips quality coding standard into this existing IDE, and then you can modify your code according to quality code compliance given by Philips. Which means we have AI pair programmer, and we can also invite more guests in the form of chat participants. Okay, you can see these are all chat participants already available. You can add these chat participants in your existing IDE, and you can improve your prompts, your code changes, and your code more optimized. The reason these chat participants are specially trained on special problems. Next. I think it's over. The last good quote, suggestions from AI tools should not be trusted blindly. AI tools can't replace humans. No doubt humans are more intelligent as compared to AI tools. These tools can make mistakes, so always be careful and view critically before using generated code. Thank you very much.
So would like if the audience has any questions.
Wonderful talk. You have talked about so many tools. Is there any available also for requirements gathering? Once this is the first part, when you're starting to develop a program, then you go in and collect all the requirements, especially when
Requirement gathering, if you want some AI tool, related to requirement gathering, to me you should give requirement in the form of prompts. Nowadays we write requirements in the form of maybe use cases or maybe elaborated use cases, or maybe some time we write requirement using formal language, maybe Z or another formal language. If you write requirement using formal language, this tool is very good. You can map requirement onto design and then design onto code. Requirements are, but if you give requirement in the form of prompt, you can directly map prompts onto code. But you can also map design onto code. Actually, basically in software basic lifecycle, requirements are mapped to design and design mapped onto code. After code you can test. But this AI programmer tool can directly get your requirement. If suppose if you already designed use cases and we elaborate use cases, main flow, alternate flow, we can just give use cases being an alternate flow as prompt to this tool. This tool will generate code based on requirement. But requirements, normally requirements are ambiguous. Requirements are, we can't, if you're going to write requirements using natural languages, the natural languages are ambiguous. But we can also give requirements formally, written in some formal language to this tool. This tool also gets formal language requirements. But AI tools, I have not especially worked with specialized tools that are especially available with the requirements. Maybe some tools are available. I have no idea. Yes.
Yes, thank you very much for the talk. So my question is that it's about the repeatability. So if you want to repeat, let's say, prompt again and again, so will you get the same code?
It's a read and read problem, and you can't get actually you are given prompts onto software service, but service is based on if service is based on your given code, and your prompt is not ambiguous, it normally gives same output. But if your prompt is ambiguous, it will give different outputs on different time taps.
So my second question is that now we have a dependency. If you generate a code with the Copilot, then who is going to debug?
Create a code with Copilot?
Yeah, then who is going to debug the code?
Debugging is available in Copilot. You can debug your code. Debugging actually
integrate the whole.
Debugging actually activities related to unit testing. If, for example, I have developed some function, suppose binary search function. Binary search function get an array and key, and basic objective of this function is to get search key into array. Function available, but maybe output is not good. But output is not matched with my my test work. So you can generate even your test cases based on test hierarchical and requirement. Maybe you can found the test cases are failed, your code is not correct. You can even write a prompt to this your AI programmer, kindly rewrite this code according to these requirements. I am not clear how this code should written based on correct requirements. It also helps you to improve code, or maybe debug code, or maybe optimize code based on unambiguous prompt. Actually, generative AI based on prompt engineering. If you write good prompts, you can get good results. So before using these tools, you should have basic knowledge of prompts.
My question is about chat participant. As you told in your talk, that chat participant actually convert your code into some standards. So on which standards this extension has been trained? Or how many different standards, like either these standards are generated by the companies as well?
Actually, chat participant is not for standards. Chat participant is general keyword. Actually, objective of chat participants is to add more programmer or more. For example, research paper we have more co-authors. So I have one co-author as Git program. I want to add more co-authors. It means add more participant, more co-author, more programmer, co-programmer, more. Every chat participant has special expertise. For example, if you are going to develop software for NLP and you are already at GitHub as pair programmer, you can add special chat participant that are specially trained on your NLP problem. For example, if you're going to solve some CNN-based problem, computer vision problem using some CNN special variant, you can add chat participant that are specially trained on computer vision. Or if you want to code, you want to apply some quality coding standard or some compliance, you want to sell code to special companies. For example, Philips is going to is the best company for medical equipments, but Philips require code according to their own coding standard. When you need chat participants that are specially trained on Philips compliance. The chat participants means adding more co-authors.
You stated that how many co-authors have already been used these chat participants or been included in these?
It's not limited. It's not limited. You can add more and more and more. But sometimes if you add more contradicting, conflict of interest type co-authors, it will generate hallucinated code. So it should no doubt human expertise is required in order to add these participants.
So it is also based on generative AI.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Shoaib, for this wonderful talk on harnessing the generative AI-based tools for the software development industry, students as well. So we thank Dr. Shoaib.
Thank you.
Then we move on to our next presenter.
Thank you, Dr. Muhammad Shoaib Farooq. I request Dr. Waqar Mahmood to present a gesture of gratitude to Dr. Shoaib Farooq. Thank you, esteemed dignitaries. You may take your seats now. Let's now turn our attention to upcoming virtual talk, which is by Dr. Adnan Nadimul Hassan. Dr. Adnan Nadimul Hassan is a full professor and head of the Department of Computer Science at Islamic University of Medina, Saudi Arabia, and earned his PhD from Institute for Communication System, UK in 2011. Dr. Adnan is a senior IEEE member and associate fellow of Higher Education Academy, UK, and an active member of various academic bodies. He contributes as an editorial board member, session chair, and organization of international conferences. Let's move on to the presentation. Listen to our speaker.
So alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
Can you hear me and can you see my screen?
Dr. Khan, we can hear you, and your screen is also visible to us.
Okay, let's start. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and good afternoon. Today, I'm going to be presenting this topic of a glimpse of basically IoT, advanced imaging, and AI potential in the smart city agriculture applications and healthcare application. The idea is that we know these advanced technologies, and we'll give you a perspective of how we have done some projects and how we have used these technologies in various applications. So moving on, this is the agenda of my talk. So I will first start with my research interest, and then I have here put it down 4 projects. One is related to the smart city application of tracking missing person. The second one is the security of that particular system. The third one is the identification of damaged date palm trees, and the last one is in the healthcare and IoT. Let's see the time permit. I will try to briefly describe from the perspective of these projects how we have used these technologies. So let's move on. I hope my voice is clear and understandable.
Yes, Dr. Sahab, you are audible.
Okay. So my name is Dr. Adnan Nadeem Al-Hassan. I did my PhD from University of Surrey, 2011. I'm a senior member of IEEE and a fellow of HEE. I have around 100 publications and 2,700 citations. And as explained, I'm a full professor and head of Department of Computer Science. Research areas. These are some of the research areas that I work on. We work on IoT and now industrial IoT, AI, along with advanced imaging technologies applied to smart cities application, smart agriculture, and healthcare. Plus, also work on the security for IoT, various IoT applications and various wireless networks. Plus, the intrusion detection response systems. So we already had one project as a co-PI. We completed blockchain application and smart city application, and worked with AI and machine learning algorithms and face recognition algorithms. As you can see, some glimpses here. So let's moving on. I'm just going to introduce some of these technology very briefly, considering, just assuming that if the audience doesn't know about it, I hope you all know about it. The IoT, we all know where is IoT. So, the answer is everywhere. We know we have been looking at the IoT applications in various sectors, in smart homes, in healthcare, in retail, and supply chain, and, in agriculture. But moving on with the IoT, what's happening with the IoT communication technologies and how we are evolving. So as we all know, we have started with the Bluetooth and Zigbee. As you can see from that graph is showing, at that time we had the distance area, the coverage area was in few meters, and the data rate was also low. And as we move on, we're now being developed with BLE, the Bluetooth low energy radios, and then the revolution comes with the LPWAN, low power wide area networks, LoRaWAN and Sigfox, which basically can have the distance or can range of up to kilometers. Obviously, which results in the new applications of considering these communication technologies. Then we move from IoT to industrial IoT, which is the concept which emerges the Industry 4.0. So the idea is the general usage are different. The IoT is for the consumer usage, and IoT is specifically for the industry. So the difference comes with the industrial purpose, with the manufacturing, the automation, using the robotics. These comes in, and with these, we need more sensitive, and precise sensors with more location technologies. But the scenario you might find the same, but we have specific scenarios for the industries. So this technology of IoT and for the branches of IoT has been, has been building up. Looking at the graph just very quickly is showing, how the industrial IoT market sizes is increasing. This is showing the progress and prediction for the next 5 years. And as I said, when we look at the comparison between the IoT and IIoT, industrial IoT, so as I said, But the general thing you see in the middle, connectivity, obviously both require connectivity, both require data analytics, but the difference is IoT, industrial IoT, which involves the AI and big data. So that means we have those technology plus robotics, which used for with the various scenarios of the industry. So this is these are one of the few areas. Then also we have been working on the advanced imaging technologies, face recognition systems. Generally, it's very common, but we have used for the applications, for challenging applications and scenarios, which I will explain in a project. Then another project we've used thermal imaging analysis for the agriculture application, and then we also propose the hyperspectral images. This is also in a agriculture scenario. This is one of the proposal, the research proposal that we have submitted. We also use, machine learning. Obviously, is there, and generative AI has. We also exploring how we can explore these generative AI areas in these various application scenarios. Security, as I mentioned, we work on IoT security. We work on the image security. We have work on blockchain and applications and intrusion detection and response systems. So moving on, I'm going to move on with the first project, and the first project which is related to a smart city application of tracking missing person in huge crowd gathering on Masjid Nabawi, and that is using IoT and AI. As you can see from the image, the issue here is you probably, most of you have been to for Umrah or Hajj. So there are children who are vulnerable, and there are elderly people. There are some disabled people who are vulnerable to get lost, and they get lost from their caretakers, and it's difficult to find and to track them in the huge crowd sometimes. And also it's challenging task in the time of Hajj, time of Ramadan, and also we have observed in the normal Friday prayers crowd. So we have been knowing that this is an issue, and we also know how the existing system work. So we took this idea, and then in collaboration with the Lost and Found department in Durham, we initiated a project in consultation with the University of Glasgow in the UK. So we proposed two methodologies in that particular project. First one was basically use the BLE-based IoT. The second one, we tried to use the face recognition system on the video sequences in order to track the missing person. The idea was to have a proactive approach to help the security officials there and the Department of Lost and Found in terms of tracking the location traces of the missing person, and also once the other case when a police officer found a child, so to track the companion of the missing person. For the children now, we have the children care which can hold a particular child for a number of hours. But again, at the end, it goes to the security people to deal with it. So for this particular first methodology, what we did is we had these BLE IoT kits from Minview Technologies. It's basically the wearable beacon devices, as you can see, the wristband, the necklace, the card, and we had the gateway devices. So we had the complete IoT kits from them. And then what we also did is basically we developed a mobile application. So the idea was basically, so when the people come in the kingdom, for example, the Umrah people, so they register. So there is a process. So they have their pictures, obviously, which is used, and then the idea is so that the children and the elderly people and the disabled people who are vulnerable to lost, we will give them those bands, and obviously the bands will be registered with their information. So that will be used, to track them, and also the information with their caretakers. The idea is we work on this idea, but unfortunately this was the time of the COVID, so we could not test it in the real scenario. But we tested in both in the indoor environment as a proof of concept. Then we move on to the second methodology in this particular project, which is basically using the video sequences. So it's challenging because of the large gathering scenario. As you can see from the image, this is the image from one of the cameras of the Masjid Nabawi. So you can see the image, and in order to find a person who's missing, who's reported missing, to track from these images. So you can see it's the densely populated area. You can see the number of people. There is a waiting unit distance from the camera. There are multiple challenges. These are low resolution images that we obtain, improper illumination. So there are various challenges we had. So what we did initially with this, we had the official contact with the Department of Lost and Found. So they provide us the video sequences of the cameras inside the Masjid Nabawi. We extracted the frames, so around 3,000 frames we extracted from that. And then in 3,000 trays, there is 188 subjects, means 188 persons. 94 of them was considered as a registered person. And then we work on that, and we take 8 images person as selected. And this is the overall methodology. So as you can see, the workflow of the methodology, you can see the images were obviously coming from which we receive. Obviously, first step, we have to do the face detection. For this, we simply use the Weiler-Jones algorithm and cascading with ICOSST. And then the idea was to localize the face region. We did this pre-processing, and then it goes to the face recognition algorithms. We use these 5 algorithms: PCA, DCT, LBP, LGBP, and ASR first individually. And then we realized that, that because of this challenging environment, the result was not as per expectation. So what we did because the idea was that they're going to predict us the ID of the person they have found, which is reported missing in this particular. And they also give us the score. The score is the rank. Is basically, you can also say the confidence detection. I will explain further. So basically, the idea was what we did it later on to optimize the accuracy of the prediction. To have a mature prediction, we use a soft voting mechanism, okay, which you see at the last column, and then we, in order to identify, in order to track this particular person. This is the overall flow, and then I will going to briefly explain because the time is short. So, for example, this soft voting scheme, so you can see basically it's going to get the score from each individual algorithms that we applied, and with a certain number of conditions, it can give us the mature prediction and the ID which matches and which matches as a soft voting mechanism as a prediction. And then we determine the person, but we also, in order to reduce the false positive, we consider the M predictions in the T time frame. So you can imagine we are going to look into the window of the frames in order to have the person who's basically identified. I'll give you some examples now. For example, this is one of the 1500 frame. This is in the data set. So it shows, the face detection algorithm recognize the faces, obviously, and also shows some matches with lower score. This is the prediction score, basically. So we define the rank. So rank 5 is the strongly recommended match to a particular registered missing person. Similarly, the rank 1 is the weakly suggested match, and rank 0 means there is no match. Okay, and also there's some confusion in the algorithm they found. So these are you can also say the confidence interval, confidence in the ranks. So these are some of the results that first we apply individually. So you can see the figure A, the first on the top, shows the results of the PCA. So we can see this example of the person ID 142, which you see on the right hand side at the bottom with the red box. You can see this person is identified by all the algorithms that we applied. Okay, but obviously you can see there are some NM, which is no match, and there are some false positive there also. So prediction, so we apply the soft voting algorithm. That's the integration of these mechanism through soft voting, and also it mitigates the false prediction of the individual algorithm. So we then had the analysis of the results of these individual algorithms, and then our proposed algorithm. This is the comparative analysis of the accuracy on the number of training images. So we had run with 3 up to 8 images per person as training, and then these are the results. Shows the good performance, and the output of this project. So briefly, I'm moving forward. That we had 4 journal papers published in quality journals. We had 1 conference paper in IEEE, and we had this data set published. So as a benchmark, so the researchers can test their own algorithms on this, and also we submitted that report to Ministry of Hajj and Umrah. It's not my only contribution, so there is normally a team which works on that. So we have 3 people from our university. We had international consultant from Ministry of Bulasu, and we have 2 researchers from the Dr. Kashif and Dr. Amali from the university in Pakistan. So this was the project number 1. I'm going now to the project number 2. I'm trying to go quickly. Please notify me before 5 minutes so I can, squeeze in. So the second project, it's an incremental research. So in the previous project, we did not consider security at all. So then we see okay how we can secure this face recognition system for that particular application of tracking missing person and using the image watermarking. So this was, you can see on the left, you see this diagram is basically, we did this geofencing. So we had around 21 cameras from which the feeds, which basically cover the inside of the haram and in the boundaries of the haram. So it's basically a network of cameras. So obviously there are links which are vulnerable. So the attacker can get hold of the link. So he can, do various compromise various security, for example. So on the right hand side, you can see what we suggested. We suggested the image watermarking. So we assume that camera, so the watermark will be embedded when the feed is coming from the camera, and before actually it's going to the face recognition system, we extract that watermark, and then we validate that validate the integrity of the image in that particular case. But many other things can also be checked. So this is the idea. So from going from no security, then adding the security integrity of the images, because there might be some scenarios when a person does not want to be tracked, and this is a specific scenario. But if you consider other applications of these face recognition system, so you will find there are many things, the many security issues you will come up. So this was the idea. And you can see I'm showing you the example. You can see the original image, watermark image on the right hand side, and then you can see the forgery. What was done here? There was one person with the gray suit, so he was, for example, deleted from the scene by, for example, this is the manipulation of the image. So this forgery attempt was detected, as you can see. So how we did this, we propose a chaotic based watermarking scheme for ensuring the integrity of this particular face recognition system. This is the workflow of the methodology, as you can see. So we had this data set already developed. So we have this host images, and what we did, we did the embedding process, okay, and this embedding process and then the extraction process. Embedding process will generate a watermark. Extraction process will extract the watermark based on a key. Key here, by the way, is basically the set of initial conditions and the control parameters. And then once you can see, then the watermark is compared, and then we can this detection process was the last phase. We can find out if there is any tamper done on the image, if any security is violated or integrity is violated or not. So the evaluation matrix, we had this peak signal to noise ratio, then we also have the similarity index measured, and then other measures, plus we also calculate the tamper ratio. So based on this, then we test these scenarios with the 4 attacks. There are various other attacks which is possible on this, but we see what is more common to us in this particular application. So copy paste attack means when an object or part of the image is copied and then pasted into another place. So we have identified, you can see from the results at the part D, with the tamper map, and not only we detect that it has been tampered, we also identify the tampered the area, the region. Then the second attack is text addition attack. If this is also redirected, I'm going through a little bit quickly. Object deletion attack. This is the one which if a person doesn't want to be tracked, he can remove himself. And we also detect a particular mechanism detected with very high accuracy. Then this collage attack. Collage attack, this is a little bit more complex attack. What happens in this attack is basically when you have 2 watermark images. So part of the image 1 is copied exactly onto the same spot of the image 2. So that makes it slightly more difficult. So here we found some algorithm where it's a bit challenging, but we managed to deal with this. So this was, you can say, a small sort of project, and then we published a paper, and then also we had a conference paper published. We had one postgraduate student's thesis, and we also established a few more future directions with this in the same area of the security. Again, there is a team, so it's very important to acknowledge the team which have been working with this particular project. So now I'm going to the third one, just to give you an idea. So you see these smart city applications of tracking missing person, and then we work on the security of it. Here we use both IoT and AI. And now we move on to the third project, which is as you can see, the identification of damaged palm trees in the form using the IoT and thermal image analysis. So, Saudi Arabia is one of the top producers of the dates, and obviously there are various factors that affect the production of the dates. One of them is not identifying, the pest and the damage at an early stage. So this is one of the issues. So what we deal with is the real problems. For example, this image shows you what happens here in the farms. The farmers use manual method to identify the damage on the tree. So normally they have their people who do the survey, and then a routine survey, and they identify. And normally by this time they detect it's quite late. For example, you can see the example of a severely damaged tree. So not only the trunk of the tree is damaged, but also this pest has spread in the around trees, the area. So it's quite late, and then it damaged the neighborhood. So so if we detect it in an early stage, that is going to be very important for us. And not only this, also, if you probably notice, in most of in Saudi Arabia, you find that between the roads divisions, you find the date palm trees are there. And it actually happens that one of the tree which damaged, we did not identify fall. Okay, and it can cause accident. So it happens in one of the roads, they have removed all the palm trees, and in some places they have installed the fences 1 meter or 1-2 to support not to have these kind of accident. So what we suggest that we propose the thermal imaging. So we tried some cameras, and then we found this the advanced shot thermal image camera as an IoT device, so we can capture this. So, and we use this, and this is the methodology. So I'm just going to briefly, because we don't restrict it with the time. So, but you can see the complete idea in this methodology. So the idea is that this camera, we can get the images. These images, this is a sample of a thermal image of a trunk of a tree. And then obviously we will extract that temperature information from that image, and apply you can see that we form a temperature histogram. And we can, in this case, we will simply apply, we extracted the feature and we apply the SPM in order to just classify if the tree is healthy or tree is damaged, or, in this particular case. This is further some examples of the trunk of the tree, because the data was collected in various scenarios with various distances and various views. But this is a digital image and corresponding thermal image. These are some of the initial results. So our hypothesis was if the tree, if there are pests inside the trunk, which you cannot see from the naked eye, then the temperature, there will be a shift of the temperature between a trunk of the tree in the same location which doesn't have a pest, and the trunk of the tree that has pest. So we identified that shift. These are some of the initial results. So it's kind of an initial investigation, basically, which we did. So what we did is we investigated this, and we managed to form a data set, and then we also use this analysis, and we have people recently in a conference with this idea, and we are also working, because this is just, we identified if the tree is damaged or the tree is infected or not, but there are various further phases which we have planned, like, for example, identifying the level of infection, and further details. So for that, we submitted a proposal which is related to the sustainable farming using the hyperspectral images and thermal images. So this was another example that I have shown you. Do I have time now? How much time?
So we have 5 minutes. We have 5 minutes.
Okay. Okay. So I think I can go through the last project. This is This is a slightly older 3-4 years ago we did, which basically elderly fall risk assessment through muscle fatigue analysis and IoT devices, as you can see from the figure. So you know the importance of this problem, and it's one of the major problem in healthcare. In US, is good portion of the budget goes towards elderly falls, which results in many, because once they do different activities, daily life activities, standing and sitting and standing from the sitting position or walking, so they can fall, and then fall can go towards can result in injuries, can also result in death in many cases. So it's a real problem. What we did, we had these shimmer sensors. Okay, so this is the IoT kits. We got two kits. One was the inertial measurement unit. The other one was electromyography (EMG) sensors. So we had that kit. So what we did, we in two phases. The first stage is the reduction. So we use this idea. So we have those sensors, and then we acquire the data. We extracted the features. We use the algorithm to analyze the pattern and to detect if there is a fall or not. Okay, so for that particular methodology, as you can see, we use this in this particular kit. We have used the knowledge distance on real-time data, so because it provides a fair comparison between the two patterns, and we got the results. And we also developed the data set with this particular project that we collected data around 114 subjects from various locations. Some of the results, again, I'm not going to do, but you can see the fall events patterns can be clearly identifiable and visible. And then we move on to how we can prevent it. So we identified, we did another way. It's basically doing muscle fatigue analysis. So what is the risk of fall? So we said, okay, we can use now the second sensor that we had, the EMG sensor. So we identified there are two lower limbs muscles, okay, this tibialis muscle and this gastrocnemius muscles. These are two main muscles which are involved when you're walking and things like that. So normally, so what we did, we tried to analyze when these muscles are fatigued or not, which basically could result in the fall. So if you do this activity with having this EMG sensor, so we can see the data coming from these two muscles. So this is the core methodology. So I'm just going to explain this really briefly. And so we have these things, we have these sensor placed on the elderly. We can get the data, we can get the EMG data with both time and frequency domain features. We do the muscle fatigue analysis, and then based on the analyzing the muscle fatigue, if we identify the muscles are fatigued, so there is a risk. So we calculate the risk, fall risk factor, how much is the false risk factor, and then we can send a message to stop that particular activity, or you can reduce that particular activity or continue this particular activity based on those measurements. So this was another project. Actually, it consists of two contributions. So we also from here we had two good papers were published in the one is IEEE journal, one elsewhere journal. We also published this data set. Also, we had the PhD students who completed PhD in Pakistan with this particular project. So this is, you see the example of how we use the IoT in the healthcare. Again, there was a team involved. I'm not the only one, so it's important to mention. Now, finally, these are some of the references. These are some of the research accomplishments. I have around 100 publications that's included patent and a book. And we have 2-3 data sets published, which is normally used, by the other people to test their algorithms. We also work on around 11 to 12 funded research projects, mainly from Saudi Arabia, one from outside. The citation also supervise, graduation projects. And this is the end from my side. So thank you very much. I tried to cope up with the time. Now I will leave. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, welcome, please.
Thank you, Doctor. That was a wonderful talk. We'd like our audience to ask any questions if they have.
Thank you very much for a very good talk. The question I have is regarding the last project.
mentioned.
Actually, the voice is, I'm sorry to disturb, the voice is little bit not clear, sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's very clear now. It's very clear now.
Okay, I have two questions. First one was regarding the thermal image that you talked about for the pest detection in the date palm trees. Those cameras, how do you plan to install them? Will they be on a moving device, or they will be stationary cameras? That is one question. And the other one is related to the last project, where you talked about the detection of elderly people fall and also prevention. Is there a possibility that such prevention could be done through image analysis only by monitoring the gait of a elderly person, the way the person is walking at any time, and then a prevention, meaning that a future fall could be detected and could be handled or managed through medical means or through other preventions without having to wear any device. So these are my two questions.
Okay, thank you very much. Very good question. So I'll start with the last one. Yeah, actually, as everyone can think of, the much better solution is to have cameras where these elderly people are, whether they are at their room or they are at a rehabilitation center or at different places. But the problem is, especially in the Western world, is the privacy. If we have those cameras and we're taking the real-time images of those people, so this is one of the issues, the privacy concern, because in order to monitor the fall, you need to have 24/7 monitoring, with the cameras. So this is one of the reasons. As I said, this is a 3-4-year-old project when we use this. Now because of this, the privacy issues, in fact, now the people are working. In fact, we have also think of working of it is the sensorless sensing. Is basically using the wireless signals which are already in that particular room or particular hall to monitor the daily life activity. Actually, there's some work already being done in the University of Glasgow. It's one of the book chapter that we published. They have work on it, and I contributed it because I worked on this there. So this is the methodology which is currently, the currently employed, considering the privacy issue. So this is one thing. I'm coming to the first question about the agriculture one. As I said, the agriculture one, what I just presented is just, you can say, an initial, our initial study and investigation before we apply for, a research grant. So when I say sustainable farming, so you ask me how we are going to use this. Yeah, so there are both options are there. As you mentioned, there are moving robots that can move around the farm and take those thermal images. Basically, we need, for this particular purpose, we need the images of the trunk trees. We suggest the drones, basically. So with certain mobility pattern that can cover the field, so we can get periodically those images of the trunk of the trees. Okay, so this is these are two ways but initially for this particular investigation we did this manual work, but this camera is completely it can capture and it can automatically send through Wi-Fi. So we use this idea, and as I said, this is the way of capturing it. And in this project there is more to it. I didn't put more detail because it's in proposal, so we are proposing a complete management, complete pest management of the date palm trees. I hope I answered the question.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Any other question from the audience? So, thank you, Dr. Adnan, for this wonderful talk.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you very much for the organizers, and it's a great opportunity to communicate. Thank you very much.